The story starts in the present, in a room filled with older people. They are writing poems as part of a special event. One of the women is 70-year-old Aesoon. She is sitting quietly, holding her pencil, thinking about her past. As she remembers her younger days, we are taken back in time. We learn about her mother, who was a haenyeo, a brave woman who dove deep into the sea to catch fish and shellfish. She had a hard life. She hated that her mother always go deep in the ocean instead of taking care of her and listening to her complaints. Her first husband, Aesoon's father, was very sick and stayed in bed all the time. After he passed away, Aesoon's mother married again. Even though life was very hard for her, she worked very hard every day. She went out to the sea to catch things to sell so that her family could have food and survive. She had strong arms and a strong heart, but she did not always show her feelings with words. Her co-workers often called her greedy because she stays long underwater to catch as many fishes and squid as she could. Young Aesoon did not live with her mother. She stayed with her father's family instead. They had more money and could pay for her to go to school, but they did not treat her nicely. They made her work like a servant. They did not smile at her or say kind words. Her grandma did not like because she always blames Aesoon's mother for the death of her son. Aesoon missed her mother very much and begged her again and again to let her come home. Even though she won second place in a poetry contest at school, her mother did not know at first. She was too busy working and diving every day. She had no time to stop and read. Aesoon felt sad because she wanted her mother to be proud of her. She put all her heart into that poem, hoping her mother would one day read it and understand her love. When she finally went back to her uncle's house, they made her do many small jobs, like cleaning and cooking. She was just a child, but they gave her so much work. Still, she stayed quiet and obeyed them. One day, her mother found the poem. In the poem, Aesoon promised to give her mother 101 every day when she grew up so her mother would not need to work so hard. Her mother read it again and again. Tears came to her eyes. That strong woman, who never cried in front of others, finally broke down. Her heart was full of pain and love. Angry and hurt by how Aesoon had been treated, she marched to the uncle's house. She shouted at them, telling them they had no heart. Then she threw down a large pile of fish she had caught, as if saying, "Here, take this, but I'm taking my daughter back." She grabbed Aesoon's hand, and they walked home together. For the first time in a long time, Aesoon felt warm and safe. They began living together again. But life was still not easy. When Aesoon lost her chance to be class president, even though she had won the vote, she cried a lot. The teacher gave the role to a rich boy instead. Her mother, seeing how unfair it was, went to the school and gave the teacher something like a bribe so he would treat Aesoon better. She also threw away all the cigarettes at home. She said she wanted to live long enough to get the pearl necklace Aesoon had promised to buy her in the future. The year was 1961. Time passed, and Aesoon started to dream more. But then something sad happened. Her mother got sick. Years of diving deep into cold water had hurt her body. She became very weak. Aesoon felt scared. She was just a young girl, and she did not want to lose her mother. Every day she stayed close, helping her as much as she could. During this time, a quiet boy named Gwansik was always nearby. He didn't talk much, but he brought food and helped in little ways. One night, Aesoon's mother made her a dish with abalone. She looked into Aesoon's eyes and told her something very important. After she was gone, Aesoon should never work as a housekeeper for her stepfather's family. Instead, she should go back to her uncle's house and ask to stay there. Her mother wanted her to live a better life, not one filled with work and sadness. Soon after, her mother passed away. Aesoon was heartbroken, but Gwansik stayed by her side, like a quiet shadow that never left. They both cried together the day Aesoon lost her mother. After the funeral, Aesoon's stepfather asked her to stay. She listened to him, even though her mother had said not to. One day, she looked at the land near the house. It was just a small space, but she had an idea. With the help of Gwansik and some women from the village, they planted cabbages there. It was hard work, but they smiled and laughed as they worked together. Gwansik always looked out for her. He brought food, helped with chores, and never asked for anything in return. After some time, Aesoon decided she wanted to leave. She wanted to study and could not do both, study and take care of the house. But her stepfather told her to stay. He said he would help her study on the mainland and promised to support her dream of learning Korean literature. So, she agreed. Later, years passed by. Aesoon and Gwansik are grown now. Aesoon sat in the marketplace with a book in her hand. People walked by as she tried to sell cabbages, but it was really Gwansik who sold most of them. Aesoon kept reading, wanting to learn more and more. As the days passed, people in the village started teasing them. They said Aesoon and Gwansik looked like a couple. Gwansik's grandmother did not like that. One day she came and yelled at Aesoon. She wanted to stop them from being together. Aesoon got scared and ran away. As she ran, she shouted, "No, thank you," to the idea of marrying Gwansik. It was a funny moment, even though her heart was full of many feelings. Gwansik was very worried when his grandmother yelled at Aesoon and made her run away. Right away, he ran after her. He didn't want her to feel hurt or alone. When he found her, the two of them walked together quietly. As they walked, we learned something important about Gwansik's family. A long time ago, his mother and father ran away together and got married without telling anyone. This made Gwansik's grandmother very strict. She did not want Gwansik to be seen with a girl like Aesoon. She was afraid they might make the same choices. Aesoon kept joking, saying she would never marry Gwansik. She smiled and laughed when she said it, but we could tell she did not really mean it. Maybe she was shy. She kept blabbing about how she cannot marry a boy from the island, instead of getting angry. Gwansik listened to her and nervously held onto his shirt. Gwansik tried to kiss her, but missed. Then he said something in a quiet way that showed he liked her. Aesoon looked surprised but happy. Then they shared a shy and funny kiss. After that, they kept walking together, not saying much, just feeling happy to be close. Later, we saw the older Aesoon with her own children, and we learned something new. Her daughter was the one telling this story all along. Back in the past, Aesoon went home and saw something that broke her heart. She danced as she enters the house. She at first started playing with her step-siblings, but noticed her stepfather was with another woman. They were hiding in the room, trying not to get caught. That night, Aesoon heard them talking. The woman's name was Naminok. She said she didn't want to raise Aesoon. She only wanted to take care of her own children. Aesoon knew she couldn't stay there anymore. She had no home, so she went to her uncle's house, hoping they would let her stay. But her uncle had other ideas. He said Aesoon should work in a factory instead of going to college. He said the family had no money and couldn't help her go to school. Aesoon felt very sad. She had worked so hard for her dreams, and now it seemed like no one cared. The next day, she packed her things and left her stepfather's house. She thought he would give her some money, because he had promised to help her while she raised her younger brothers and sisters, but he gave her nothing. She was left with no money, no place to live, and no hope. Feeling hopeless, she went to find Gwansik and cried in front of him. He held her close and tried to comfort her. Then, trying to fix everything, he asked her to marry him. But Aesoon didn't want to marry just anyone. She had a dream of marrying someone from the mainland and leaving Jeju forever. That night, Aesoon and Gwansik made a big decision. They wanted to leave their small island and start a new life on the mainland. They took some jewelry from their homes. They packed their clothes and got ready like grown-ups. They met at the back of the house. Aesoon ensures that Gwansik is sure he wants to do it. He tells he has never been more excited. They dressed nicely and waited for the ship. When they got on the boat, the captain looked at them with suspicious eyes. He thought they might be running away. Gwansik was about to bring out money to bribe the captain, but Aesoon was brave. She told the captain they were a married couple. Her strong words made the captain stop asking questions. When they reached the big city of Busan, everything felt new and different. They walked around and found a pawn shop. They tried to sell the jewelry, but the shop owner looked at them closely. He knew they weren't really adults or a real married couple. Later, they walked around looking for a place to sleep. They found a night stay, a kind of small hotel. They told the owners they were newly married and had lost their wallets, including their ID cards. The owners, who seemed kind at first, said it was okay. They gave them a room, some food, and even alcohol. Aesoon and Gwansik felt safe for the first time since they left home, but they didn't know the truth about the owners. In the middle of the night, the owner knocked on their door to give them alcohol. The next morning, Aesoon and Gwansik woke up and saw something terrible. All their things were gone. Their clothes, their money, and even small items were missing. They ran to the owners and asked what happened. The owners acted like they knew nothing. They said the room was fine and they were not to blame. But Aesoon and Gwansik knew the truth. The owners had stolen from them. Worse still, they threatened to call the police if the kids didn't leave. Now Aesoon and Gwansik were out on the streets with nothing. Aesoon began to cry. She remembered a story from her childhood, the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel. In that story, the children were clever and tricked the witch. Aesoon wiped her tears and told Gwansik they needed to do the same. They needed to be smart and take back what was theirs. That night, they watched the night stay carefully. They saw the owners tricking another guest, a woman who was alone. Aesoon and Gwansik waited until she was inside her room, then knocked and warned her. They told her not to turn off the light. If she did, the owners might try to steal from her, too. The woman believed them and left the light on. The owners got angry and said they would charge her more the next day. Then they went to sleep, thinking their plan was ruined. This was Aesoon and Gwansik's chance. They tiptoed into the house looking for money. They found a spot where the owners kept their things and started to take back what was theirs. Everything was going well, until Aesoon saw something that made her stop. The daughter of the owners was wearing her hair clip. It was special to her, because Gwansik had given it to her. She reached out to grab it, and by accident, made a noise. The family woke up. They were shocked and angry. Aesoon and Gwansik tried to run, but Aesoon got caught. The family held her tight and would not let go. Gwansik saw her struggling. He was scared, but also full of courage. With all his strength, he hit the people who were holding her. He didn't care about getting hurt. He just wanted to save her. The screen faded as we saw the two of them fighting together to escape. Aesoon and Gwansik are taken to the police station after getting caught trying to take back their things from the bad people at the night stay. They are cold, tired, and scared, but they sit quietly as the police ask them questions. Just then, Gwansik's mother walks in. She has come all the way to Busan looking for her son. She scolds Gwansik and tells him to give back the golden frog, a shiny thing made of gold that he had taken from home before running away. The golden frog is very special to her. At the same time, the woman who tricked them goes to a shop to trade the golden frog for money. But later, when she tries to keep the money, Gwansik's mother is already waiting at her house to take it back. A big fight starts. The police come and take the bad woman away. They find out she has tricked other people before. Finally, everything is solved, and the three of them, Gwansik, Aesoon, and his mother, go back home to Jeju. Back in Jeju, life is not easy. Gwansik finds out he is only suspended from school, which means he can return later. But Aesoon's school says she cannot return at all. Her school has kicked her out forever. Gwansik is very upset. He goes to Aesoon's grandmother to ask why. The grandmother tells him that when a boy runs away, people say he is brave. But when a girl runs away, people say she is bad. Gwansik thinks this is very unfair. He tells them he will marry Aesoon so they can live together, and no one will say bad things. The next day, Gwansik's mother visits Aesoon. She talks kindly, but says she does not want Aesoon to marry her son. She wants Gwansik to do great things in life. Later, Gwansik goes to Aesoon's uncle to ask if he can marry her, but Aesoon says no. She does not want to get married right now. Soon, Aesoon is forced to go on a blind date with a man who is 30 years old. He is looking for a second wife to help take care of his children. He tells Aesoon that if she marries him, he will pay for her to go to college. Aesoon feels very sad. This is not the life her mother wanted for her. Her mother always said she should not become a housekeeper for someone else's family. That night, Gwansik hears about the date and becomes very angry. He runs to Aesoon's house and yells at her uncle and grandmother. Later, he sees Aesoon walking with the man. Gwansik pulls her aside and tells her not to marry that man. He puts a ring on her finger and asks her again to be with him. But Aesoon takes the ring off and throws it into a field. She tells him he is standing in her way. She says if he really loves her, he should let her go so she can be free. Gwansik walks away, very sad. Later, Aesoon goes back to the field to look for the ring, but she cannot find it. The next day, Aesoon is trying on a wedding dress. She looks sad and quiet. At the same time, Gwansik is leaving for the mainland to run in a sports competition. His mother had told Aesoon that Gwansik is very good at sports and could win many medals, but if he marries her, he might not follow his dream. That is why Aesoon said no to him. She lied so he would leave and have a good future. But what Aesoon doesn't know is that Gwansik never liked sports very much. He only started training to win money and prizes for her. Without her, he doesn't want to do it anymore. Aesoon thinks about all the times Gwansik helped her. He gave her food, walked her to school, and was always by her side. She realizes she cannot live without him. She runs to the harbor to stop him from leaving. But when she gets there, the ship has already left. Aesoon cries out his name loudly. She screams and waves her arms. She hopes he will hear her. And then, something amazing happens. Gwansik hears her voice from the ship. He sees her running and crying. He tries to tell the captain to turn the ship around, but he refused, so without thinking, he jumps off the ship and swims all the way back to shore. People on the island cheer and clap. They are wet and tired, but when they reach each other, they hug tightly. Even though Gwansik's family is not happy, the two of them are finally together again. In the present, we see Gwansik's sister talking to Aesoon's daughter. She says that the daughter was made on the night Aesoon and Gwansik came back together. Then the story goes back to the past, showing Aesoon and Gwansik playing with their baby girl. Her name is Gyeom. She tells us that her parents gave up their dreams to raise her. In the end, Gwansik goes to the pawn shop and gets back the wedding ring he had once given Aesoon. Many years have passed, and Aesoon is now living with Gwansik's family. She has already gave birth to their first child, a daughter, but things are not easy. Her in-laws, especially Gwansik's grandmother, treat her unkindly. Aesoon tries her best to be a good wife and daughter-in-law, But the family always finds something to complain about. The grandma wants her to give birth to a baby boy, and she also believes that the ghost of Aesoon's mother is still following her around then. One day, Aesoon visits someone special, Naminok, the woman who once refused to raise her. Now Naminok is about to have a baby. Aesoon helps her through the tough time. Over the years, Minok has changed and become a loving mother to Aesoon's half-siblings. Even though they had problems in the past, Aesoon and Minok now work together quietly, without any fights. Their hearts understand each other without needing many words. Before Aesoon leaves, Minok gives her a tricycle for Gyumyong, Aesoon's little girl. Aesoon happily brings it home, hoping her daughter can ride and have fun. But back at home, when Aesoon tells Gwansik's family about the tricycle, his grandmother gets angry. She says girls shouldn't ride bikes. She believes girls should stay in the kitchen and help with housework. Aesoon feels very sad. That night, she talks to Gwansik in their small room. She tells him she doesn't want their daughter to grow up stuck in the kitchen like she was. She wants Gyumyong to feel free, to ride and laugh and play. Gwansik listens carefully. The next day, he buys a new tricycle, this time an expensive one. He hopes that if the bike is costly, the family won't try to sell it for candy or snacks. This small gift brings joy to Aesoon, who feels like maybe, just maybe, her daughter will have a different life than hers. Now the story moves to 1996. Gyumyong, Aesoon's daughter, is all grown up. She has a job and is getting ready to marry. But her fiancé's mother does not like her. The woman is rich and proud. She looks down on Gyumyong because she comes from a poor family. Still, Gyumyong stays quiet, until one day, the woman says something that crosses the line. She tells her to quit her job after marriage. Gyumyong remembers all that her mother gave up so she could be free. She stands up tall and says no, she will not stop working. Later, she tells her fiancé clearly that she is not desperate to marry him. She is strong, just like her mother. While Gyumyong is learning to stand on her own, Aesoon finds out something terrible. Gwansik's family is planning to make Gyumyong into a henyo, a woman who dives deep into the sea to catch seafood. Aesoon becomes furious. She shouts that Gyumyong is her daughter and will not become a henyo. She reminds everyone that her own mother died from being in the water too long and getting sick. She doesn't want her daughter to suffer like that. Gwansik's mother gets angry and slaps Aesoon across the face. Just then, Gwansik walks in. He sees everything. He can no longer stay quiet. He takes Aesoon and Gyumyong out of the house. The three of them move into a small rented room with a tiny kitchen. Life is hard, but peaceful. One day they find out someone has already paid their rent for 3 months, but they don't know who did it. A few nights later, Gwansik comes home with a broken finger. Aesoon is very worried. The next morning, after helping him get ready, she goes to see someone from her past. Aesoon visits the house of Sangil, the man she almost married before. He has been giving Gwansik work on his fishing boat. A village woman tells Aesoon the truth. Sangil has been hurting Gwansik. Even when he was hurt, Sangil would not stop or help him. That day, on the boat, Sangil shouts at Gwansik and tells him not to go home. He kicks him cruelly. But just then, Aesoon arrives. She sees everything and yells at Sangil. She tells him Gwansik will not work for him anymore. As they try to leave, Sangil makes fun of Gwansik again. That is when Aesoon, angry and full of courage, kicks Sangil in the shin. The scene jumps back to 1996. Gwansik now has a bad leg from all his years of hard work. Aesoon takes care of him with love. After Aesoon stopped Gwansik from working for Sangil, they had a very hard time. Gwansik looked for jobs, but no one would hire him. People were scared of Sangil's family, so they didn't want to make them angry. Every day, Gwansik came home with tired eyes and empty hands. Their money ran out, and even food became hard to find. Aesoon tried asking her landlords for a little rice, but they said no. She felt very embarrassed but also angry. One day, as she walked with little Gyumyong in the present time, she thought about all of this. She told her daughter that she learned something back then. People should only be ashamed when they do bad things, not when they are poor and trying their best. Back in the past, Aesoon went to visit her grandmother. She hoped to get some money, but her pride made it hard for her to ask. Her grandmother didn't say much at first, but later she came to Aesoon's house with a bank book. It had her savings inside. She also brought some jewelry and small things of value. Aesoon was surprised and thankful. Her grandmother told her something very touching. She said Aesoon's mother had once asked her to take care of Aesoon, just like she took care of Aesoon's father. She had done this while taking a picture with Aesoon's mother. Aesoon's mother believed that by asking her mother to care for Aesoon, her heart would feel less heavy. It was like she was trying to give back something after losing her child. Aesoon and Gwansik were so thankful. They promised to make her proud and use the money wisely. With the money, they bought a fishing boat. It was small, but it was theirs. They were so happy. Just then, Aesoon went into labor. At the hospital, she gave birth to a son. Gwansik's family, who didn't treat Aesoon very kindly before, now finally accepted her. She had given them a grandson and helped buy a boat. Aesoon felt strong and proud. Not long after that, Gwansik bought a house. But it wasn't just any house. It was the house where Aesoon's mother used to live with her stepfather. Aesoon had always loved that house. It reminded her of her mother and her childhood. Now, it was her own house. She felt like she finally had a real home, a place full of good memories and love. She decorated it with Gwansik and the children. It was simple, but it was special. One night, Aesoon had a dream. In the dream, her mother was there. She talked about how a neighbor had a truck. Aesoon didn't know what it meant, but when she woke up, she felt scared. Gwansik was at sea, fishing. She ran to the hospital with a neighbor's help. There, she gave birth to her third child, another son. Life kept going, and Aesoon stayed busy. Later, she became the deputy president of the women's group on the island. Sangil was still the president, even though no one liked him much. No one else wanted the job. Together, they made rules about people not dancing in public. It was a silly rule, but they took it seriously. One day, while checking on people, Aesoon found Sangil's wife. She was trying to run away. Aesoon helped her. The woman looked very tired and sad. She even asked Aesoon why she didn't marry Sangil instead. Aesoon didn't know what to say. That night, Gwansik painted the boat. He called Aesoon to join him. At first, she didn't want to. There was an old saying that women brought bad luck to boats, but their daughter Gyum-myung climbed on the boat. Aesoon didn't stop her. She looked at her child and smiled. Then she got on the boat too. She helped paint the name on it. At that moment, Aesoon felt truly happy again. Gwansik gave her a kiss. It was a quiet, simple moment, but it meant everything. They had made it through so much. Now they had a boat, a home, and a family. It was a normal day, or so Aesoon thought. She was doing her usual chores and caring for her two little boys. The house was full of sounds, little feet running, laughter, and the clatter of pots. Aesoon was tired, but she kept going like she always did. Then she looked outside and saw her daughter Gum-myung trying to ride a bicycle. The bike wobbled, and Gum-myung looked scared. At the same time, big dark clouds were coming. The wind was getting stronger. A storm was on its way. Aesoon quickly asked her sleepy neighbor to watch the boys and ran outside to help her daughter. But when she came back with Gum-myung, the boys were gone. The house was quiet. Too quiet. News spread fast. Gwansik, who was working far away, heard about it and dropped everything. He rushed back, his heart pounding like a drum. Everyone in the town joined the search. They looked in the alleys, by the trees, near the boats, and along the beaches. After a long time, someone shouted. They had found one of the boys. He was safe, crying and scared, but the younger one was still missing. They kept looking, calling his name again and again. Then they found him near the seawall. He wasn't moving. The sea had taken him. The sky seemed to cry with them, and the waves kept crashing as if they were shouting too. Gum-myung's voice told the next part, like a gentle song filled with sadness. She spoke about her father, Gwansik. He had always been strong. He worked hard, never complained, and always smiled at them. But now he sat on the ground, holding his son's little body, crying like a baby. For the first time, their big, strong father looked small. For 3 days, the family sat together in silence. No one ate much. No one slept. Aesoon stared at the wall. Gwansik didn't talk. The house felt broken. Aesoon thought about her mother, who had once told her that being strong didn't mean not crying. It meant standing back up. On the 3rd day, she stood up and went outside. She saw her oldest son sitting alone, tears on his cheeks. He looked so guilty. He thought it was all his fault. Gwansik saw it too. He saw that Gyum-myung blamed herself as well. That moment shook them both. The parents looked at their children and knew they had to keep going. The next morning, Gwansik returned to his work. He picked up his tools with shaking hands. Aesoon cleaned the house, then went back to the fish market. They were still hurting, but they moved. Aesoon began to hate the sea. She would walk along the shore and look at the waves with cold eyes. One day, while walking with Gwansik, she said, "It's my fault." He stopped and said, "No, no one in this family is to blame. We live for the ones still with us." His words were like a warm coat on a cold day. Years later, Aesoon would find out that Gwansik had blamed himself too. He had been so close to the seawall, but still couldn't save their son. Then something strange happened. Aesoon found too much food in the kitchen. She hadn't bought all of it. She began to notice little things: extra rice, extra side dishes, neatly wrapped fish. She looked back and realized the town had been helping them all along. The landlord had secretly filled their rice jar every day. Just a little, not enough to be noticed right away. When Aesoon had once shouted at them, it wasn't because she wanted food. It was because she knew they were helping but pretending not to. She had wanted them to admit it. Another woman, her stepfather's new wife, had paid 3 months' rent when they were moving out. Even the Haenyeo had saved special seafood for Ae-soon when she was pregnant. These memories came back like quiet stars shining in the night. The town had never stopped caring. Time moved forward like the sea's waves. Gum-myung worked hard and passed her school tests. She was going to college in Seoul. Ae-soon smiled, but it was the quiet kind of smile. It was her third time feeling happy without saying a word. She and Gwon-sik went with Geum-myung to the city. There they met a nice young man named Park Young-beom. He liked Geum-myung a lot. Ae-soon and Gwon-sik sat together as the young couple talked. Later, Ae-soon said she wanted to sell their cabbage field to help buy Jum-myung a house, but Gwon-sik gently told her to keep the field. As they walked hand in hand, the wind blew softly around them. Life had taken much, but it had also given them small gifts, and now they walked forward again. The weather was getting cooler, and the leaves started to turn orange and yellow. It was fall, and something big was coming, the Olympics. People were excited because the Olympic torch was going to pass through Jeju along the sea route. But there was a problem. To make room for the torch to pass, the government told the fish market sellers they had to move. That meant no more selling fish or seaweed for a few days, and no way to earn money. Many sellers were upset. They needed to work to support their families. The people began to protest, asking the officials to let them stay. But Sang-gil, who used to live in their village, now supported the officials instead. He told the sellers to stop protesting. Everyone was surprised and upset at him. Then Ae-soon showed up. She didn't shout or wave a sign. She just lay down on the road, right where the torch was supposed to go. Everyone watched. The workers stopped. No one knew what to do. Because of Ae-soon, the clearing work stopped, and the sellers were allowed to stay a little longer. Soon, elections were coming up in the village. Sang-gil and Ae-soon were both running to be the village chief. Sang-gil started saying bad things about Ae-soon to win more votes. He said she didn't raise her kids well and couldn't lead the village. Because of this, people started talking about Ae-soon's children. Gum-myung was a good student and did well in school, but her little brother was a different story. One day, Ae-soon was called to his school. The teacher said he had been selling things to students. He even took letters from the nameplates on teachers' cars and tried to sell those too. Ae-soon didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The boy was clever in his own way, but he caused trouble sometimes. Still, Ae-soon didn't give up on him. She just shook her head and told him to stop acting silly at school. At the same time, back in Jeju, Sang-gil was trying hard to win the election. One day, the women who dive in the sea, the Haenyeo, saw him massaging a woman's feet. That woman wasn't his wife. Ae-soon heard about it and decided to use the news to protect herself. She didn't shout or spread lies. She just reminded Sang-gil that if he kept talking badly about her, she could talk about what the Haenyeo had seen. After that, Sang-gil dropped out of the election. The villagers were happy. They liked Ae-soon because she was calm, honest, and cared about them. She became the first woman village chief. Everyone celebrated. Gwon-sik, who had been helping quietly behind the scenes, was very happy. That night, their friends and neighbors came together to enjoy the good news. They ate, laughed, and clapped for Ae-soon. Gwon-sik smiled the whole time. Ae-soon sat quietly after the party and thought about her mother. She remembered a time long ago when she had told her mother she wanted to be president one day. Her mother had laughed and hugged her. Now, Ae-soon wasn't president, but she was leading her village. She had worked hard to get there, and now the people believed in her. She didn't need to shout or fight. She just showed them with her actions that she could lead well. While all this was happening in Jeju, Gyeom-myung was in Seoul. She had started tutoring students to earn a little money. It wasn't really allowed, but she did it carefully. She wanted to help her family and also study. Jum-myung had once been given a chance to study in Japan, but she didn't go. Her family needed her, so she stayed. One day, after her normal lesson routine with her student, she was about to leave when she notices a stack of cash in jar. She is to take from the money. Every time she comes to the house, she is always tempted to take more, but she won't. Later, a maid was sent to her, asking that someone wants to see her. The mother of a student gave her an odd request. She wanted Gum-myung to take an exam for someone else and had fake documents ready. Gum-myung didn't like the idea at all. She had always worked hard and honestly. The offer made her feel strange inside. She thought about what her mother and father would say. She decided not to do it. She didn't want to lie or cheat. But this choice would come with problems. The woman who made the offer didn't stay quiet. She got angry. She threatens to report to the police for accepting tutoring lessons, and she is going to get away with it because has the money. Back in Seoul, Gwon-sik missed his daughter. He decided to visit her without telling her first. He arrived at the place where she stayed and waited outside. While he was waiting, someone else showed up. It was Young-byom, the boy who liked Gum-myung. He was taking a short break from his army service. At first, he didn't recognize Gwon-sik, but then he realized who he was. They both waited together. Yongbyum smiled and introduced himself as Jumyoung's friend. It was a bit funny and awkward, but Gwansik didn't mind. He was just happy to see that someone cared about his daughter. Later, Gwansik found out that Jumyoung wasn't allowed to stay in the dorms. Maybe there was some rule or a mistake. He didn't understand all of it, but he wanted to help. Jumyoung didn't complain. She just kept studying and working, like she always did. But soon, another problem came up. The woman who had asked her to cheat got very angry when Jumyoung refused. She told people that Jumyoung had stolen a diamond ring. It wasn't true, but it caused a lot of trouble. Jumyoung sits quietly inside the police station. She had been tutoring students for a while, even though it was not exactly allowed. When one of the mothers falsely said she had stolen a diamond ring, Jumyoung didn't know what to do. She had no way to prove she wasn't guilty, and she couldn't even say she was a tutor because that would cause more trouble. She sat nervously, wondering if her parents would find out. At the same time, Gwansik was already in Seoul. He was there because he had been given an award for helping save someone at sea, but now he was more focused on Jumyoung. He met Yongbyum, the young man who liked his daughter, and asked him many questions. Yongbyum admitted that he had asked Jumyoung out 8 times, and she had said no each time. Gwansik found that funny. He thought Yongbyum looked a lot like his younger self, and Jumyoung reminded him of Ae-soon when they were young. Still, he didn't say much, just smiled quietly. Meanwhile, something surprising was happening at the house where Jumyoung had been teaching. The housekeeper, who had seen everything, stepped forward. She told the mother who made the false complaint to take it back. If she didn't, the housekeeper would throw the real diamond ring away. The mother got scared and quickly agreed to cancel the complaint. Then came an even bigger surprise. The housekeeper turned out to be someone from Gwansik and Ae-soon's past. Years ago, in Busan, they had helped her when someone tried to cheat her at a guest house. She never forgot that moment. When she saw Jumyoung, she thought she looked just like Ae-soon. That's why she helped. But Jumyoung didn't know any of this. She was still worried her parents would be upset with her. She called Ae-soon, trying to stay calm, only to find out that her father was already on his way to visit her. She got nervous. She didn't want to disappoint him. Later, Jumyoung and Gwansik sat down to have dinner together. The food was simple, and the restaurant was quiet, but Jumyoung had a lot on her mind. She couldn't hold it in any longer. She started to talk about all the things that had made her feel sad and tired. She talked about money, about giving up chances to follow her dreams, and about not being able to go to Japan to study. She didn't shout or cry loudly, but her voice was filled with pain. Gwansik just listened. He didn't try to argue or stop her. He knew his daughter was growing up and facing a world full of hard choices. After the meal, she learned that her father had come to see her, even though it meant going out of his way. That made her heart feel heavy. After he left, she said goodbye to Yongbyum too, since he had to return to the army. It was a quiet, sad goodbye. Time passed, and one day, we see Jumyoung getting married. She was crying again, but this time, it was a happy kind of crying. Gwansik held her hand and walked her down the aisle. Back in Jeju, life continued. Ae-soon and the Henyos joined a school poetry competition. One of the aunties decided to write and submit her own poem. It was a fun little event, and everyone enjoyed it. At the same time, Ae-soon had been working with the Henyos to open a small shop. It was in the same cafe where she had once met Sang-gil. Now, it felt like a new chapter. She arranged cups, wiped the tables, and prepared for customers. Then, a letter arrived. It was from Jumyoung's teacher, saying he wanted to support her study abroad in Japan. Jumyoung told Ae-soon about it, but the news led to a disagreement. Ae-soon didn't just want to say yes right away. She wanted to be sure Jumyoung truly wanted to go. She asked her many times, "Is this really what you want?" she said. It wasn't because she didn't believe in her daughter. She just wanted to be sure Jumyoung was doing it for herself, not for anyone else. The moment felt serious, but it showed how much Ae-soon cared. In the end, Ae-soon and Gwansik made a big decision. They decided to sell their home. It wasn't easy. They had lived there for many years, but they wanted Jumyoung to have a better future. That night, Ae-soon had a dream. In the dream, she saw her mother again. Her mother smiled and seemed proud. It felt like a quiet goodbye. Ae-soon also dreamed of her late son, and finally said goodbye to him too. It was peaceful. A little while later, the whole family moved to Seoul. They packed their things and said goodbye to the old house. Jumyoung left for Japan soon after. As she got on the plane, she held a thick envelope full of money. It was all the savings Ae-soon had collected for her, little by little. Jumyoung couldn't stop crying. She knew how hard her parents had worked to make this happen. She promised herself she would study hard and make them proud. Back in Jeju, the poetry contest ended. Ae-soon's poem had won, but the school staff looked confused. They searched for a student named Ae-soon, not realizing that the writer was not a young girl, but a strong woman with a long story behind her. Ae-soon, Gwon-sik, and Eun-myung settled into a very small apartment in the city. They had to sell their old house to pay for Gum-young's study trip, so now they lived in a cramped place. Even though it wasn't fancy, they tried to make it feel like home. Ae-soon also decided to leave the new shop she was planning with her Haenyeo friends. She gave them her share and went back to being a street vendor. She pulled her cart down the busy road, just like she used to before. Selling food and small things on the street wasn't easy, but Ae-soon didn't complain. She just worked hard, hoping it would help her family. In Japan, Gum-young saw a photo of her family's new life. The small apartment and the street vendor cart made her cry. She felt bad because her parents gave up so much for her. Their big dreams had to wait, and she blamed herself for that. Back in Seoul, Gum-young wasn't living in a dorm anymore. She rented a small room in a shared building. It was nothing special, but it was enough for her. One day, her landlord's daughter asked for help hiding her boyfriend. Gum-young, being kind, agreed. They tried to hide him in a big storage bag in her room, but it didn't work. The landlord walked in and found him hiding. It was very embarrassing. Meanwhile, at home, Ae-soon started noticing strange things about her son, Eun-myung. She thought he was hiding something too. One day, she and Gwon-sik opened his room door and looked around. They were shocked when they found a girl hiding in a cupboard. Her name was Bu Hyun-suk. She was Sang-gil's daughter. Eun-myung introduced her as his girlfriend. Everyone was surprised. Hyun-suk said that a long time ago her mom had told her to marry someone like Gwon-sik. That's why she decided to follow Eun-myung. It was funny and strange at the same time. Even after coming back from Japan, Eun-myung had trouble finding a job. She had a good education, but things were still hard. That's when she met Park Cheong-seop. He was the same person she had once helped hide from his girlfriend's dad. Now he worked at a small theater as an artist. He painted posters and helped with stage work, but he wasn't doing very well. His boss often scolded him for making boring posters that didn't help sell tickets. Still, the boss liked him enough not to fire him. Cheong-seop decided to help Gum-myung. He got her a job at the ticket counter in the theater. She started working there and was grateful for the opportunity. One day, Young-byum came to see her. They found an empty room to talk in, but Cheong-seop happened to be nearby and saw them through a small window. He didn't say anything, but kept watching from far away. Later, when Gum-myung and Young-byum talked again, he said she should move out of her poor neighborhood. That made her upset, and she asked him to leave instead. Cheong-seop was walking nearby and overheard their argument. He didn't show himself but smiled a little as he passed by. Time moved on, and Jum-myung tried to focus on work. She noticed that Cheong-seop never brought lunch, so one day, she decided to bring him some. She walked into his office at the theater, holding a lunchbox. She looked around and saw his artwork. There were so many paintings. Some were happy, some were sad, and some were full of colors. She stood there quietly, feeling something she couldn't explain. Just then, Cheong-seop arrived with someone else, his girlfriend. His girlfriend was not very happy. She started talking loudly, saying he never earned enough money, and that being an artist wasn't a real job. She didn't notice Gum-myung at first, who was hiding behind a shelf, but then she spotted her. Everyone stood still. The lunchbox was still in Gum-myung's hand, but now it felt too heavy. The girlfriend looked at her, then back at Cheong-seop. No one spoke for a moment. The room felt quiet and awkward. Ae-soon is back to working on the streets. Gwon-sik tries to keep the family together. Eun-myung is now dealing with a sudden relationship. Hyun-suk, his girlfriend, seems very sure about her choice, even if others are not. Jum-myung is trying to find her place again, first in Japan, and now back home. She still feels guilty about everything her parents gave up, but slowly, she's meeting new people and discovering new parts of herself. Park Cheong-seop might be a friend, or maybe something more. For now, they are just two people trying to do their best in a city that doesn't always feel kind. Even though things are not perfect, the family keeps moving forward, one small step at a time. Sang-gil is shown being very rude and mean to his wife and children. He doesn't care how they feel and talks down to everyone. His daughter, Hyun-suk, is especially hurt by his behavior. To make things worse, her brother also scolds her harshly for dating Eun-myung. He reminds her that Ae-soon and Sang-gil don't get along, so he thinks she shouldn't be with someone from that family. But Hyun-suk doesn't listen. She likes Eun-myung and wants to be with him no matter what anyone says. Even though Eun-myung cares for her, he tries to break up with her because her brothers are making life so hard for him. But when the two of them meet, they realize they can't stay apart. They care too much about each other. They end up staying together, and the Haenyeo aunties happen to be watching from a distance. They laugh and tease the young couple, saying love always finds a way, even when parents and siblings make it difficult. Far away, in another part of the city, Jum-myung is going through her problems. One day she runs into Young-byum's mother. It happens on Youngbyom's birthday, and things get tense. His mother finds Jumyoung at his place and isn't happy at all. She says mean things, acting like Jumyoung isn't good enough for her son. This hurts Jumyoung deeply. Later, while sitting in a car with Youngbyom, she finally opens up. She begins crying and says that no matter how hard she works, she always feels like she's being treated badly. She tells him it feels like people look down on her, even though she's just as smart and strong. She doesn't want to keep living like that, always feeling small. It's a heavy moment, and Youngbyom listens quietly, not knowing what to say. Even though they've cared for each other for a long time, Jumyoung's sadness builds a wall between them. She wants to be seen and respected, not pitied. The next day at the theater, Gumyoung notices something strange. A woman is standing outside selling tickets. At first, it looks like the woman is just trying to make money. But then, Gumyoung watches her more closely and sees that she's actually enjoying the art and the posters on display. Curious, Gumyoung decides to follow her. That's when she learns something surprising. The woman is Cheongseop's mother. Instead of being angry, Jumyoung quietly gives her a ticket to watch a show. As they talk, the theater owner walks by and overhears their conversation. He hears them talk about how Cheongseop has loved drawing ever since he was a little boy. Even though the owner always acts tough, he shows his soft side by giving the woman more free tickets. This moment changes how Gumyoung sees him. Later, Cheongseop's mother goes to watch her first movie at the theater. She smiles through the whole thing. Afterward, she invites Geumyoung and Cheongseop to her small shop. There, she gives Geumyoung a bag full of English books. They all eat dinner together at a small tent restaurant, laughing and sharing warm food. Then, Cheongseop helps Gumyoung carry the books home. Back in Jeju, Aesoon is preparing for a special family event called Ancestral Rites. This is where family members gather to remember loved ones who have passed away. As she gets things ready with her uncle and his family, Aesoon remembers something from her childhood. She once chased a black dragonfly, which people said brings bad luck. While chasing it, she met a strange woman at a bus stop who asked for change. Aesoon tried to help by going to get coins, but when she walked down a quiet road, a man in a truck tried to grab her. Just in time, Aesoon's mother showed up and saved her. Her mom said, "I have eyes on the back of my head. That's what moms need." They left the money behind, saying it was cursed. Later, Aesoon's mom found the woman again, and found out she was part of a group that took children and forced them to beg. With help from the townspeople, Aesoon's mom stopped them. It was a scary memory, but it also reminded Aesoon of how strong and brave her mother was. It showed how important it is to always be careful and to protect your family. Both Aesoon and Geumyoung have nightmares about the same thing, the terrible typhoon from the past. That storm had taken Aesoon's youngest child, and the pain still lives inside them. The next morning, Aesoon wakes up worried and decides to visit Gumyoung in Seoul. When she gets there, something is wrong. Gumyoung had fallen asleep in a room with a gas leak from a broken wall. She had breathed in too much carbon monoxide and passed out. Aesoon panics and calls an ambulance. She tells the landlord's family and tries to stay calm. At the same time, Cheongseop is nearby. When he hears the news, he runs inside and carries Gumyoung down the stairs. They reach the ambulance just in time. It's a scary moment, but thankfully, Gumyoung is saved. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. The storm in their hearts may still be there, but at least for now, they're safe again. Aesoon and Cheongseop are standing quietly near Gumyoung, who is lying in a hospital bed. She had been saved just in time after the gas leak in her room. Though everyone is still scared, the worst has passed. A little later, Youngbyom arrives, and he is crying very hard. He can't stop his tears when he sees Gumyoung lying there. As Aesoon watches him, she sees something familiar in his eyes. Something about the way he worries and cries reminds her of Gwansik when he was younger. For a moment, Aesoon feels a bit soft toward Youngbyom, but then she remembers how badly Gumyoung had been treated. When she sees Youngbyom's mother and how cold she acts, Aesoon grows worried again. She thinks maybe Gumyoung has been hurt more than they knew. She becomes unsure whether Youngbyom is truly the right person for her daughter. Meanwhile, something funny and surprising happens with Eunmyeong. He accidentally learns something shocking about Sang-gil and his mother. Though we don't get all the details, Eunmyeong's reaction is full of laughter and disbelief. The next part of his story takes a more serious turn. It is time for him to leave for his military service. Just like many young men in Korea, Eunmyeong must serve in the army. Around the same time, we find out that Cheongseop is also leaving for his service. Even though he looks older, he's only 29 years old. Before he leaves, he does something sweet. He gives Gumyoung a painting he made of her. She had once joked about wanting a painting, and he remembered. It shows how close they had quietly become, walking home together and sharing small, awkward stories. They had seen each other's silly sides, but also their kind sides. The gift is not just a painting, it's a goodbye, and maybe a promise too. After some time, a special dinner is arranged. This is when Gyum-myung's family meets Youngbyom's family. It should be a happy moment, but it feels tense instead. Youngbyom's family treats the meeting like a test. At the dinner table, Jum-myung is made to serve food to her in-laws, and her parents watch this silently. Soon, her mother, feels very hurt. She sees her daughter acting like a servant, and she knows this is not right. Then, in a firm but polite voice, Soon stands up and speaks. She says sorry for not teaching Gyum-myung how to do chores because she was always her precious daughter, and they didn't raise her that way. Even she noticed that when Gwang-sik wanted to shake her father-in-law's hand, he covered his wounded hand like he was ashamed of anyone seeing it. Gyum-myung knows this is her mother's way of standing up for her. Later, when her parents leave, Gyum-myung can tell that Soon had cried. This makes her sad and angry at the same time. She goes to her future mother-in-law and asks her to treat her family with respect. She says she doesn't want her parents to be looked down on. Some time passes, and Gyum-myung and Soon go out shopping for the wedding. They are going to buy hanbok, traditional Korean clothes. Soon finds a lovely pink hanbok she likes, but Youngbyom's mother insists she wear brown instead. She says pink doesn't look right on Soon, and that brown is more proper. Soon, though sad, says nothing. But then, something worse happens. Youngbyom's mother asks Soon to call off the wedding. She says their families are too different. Hers is rich, and Soon's is poor. She talks about class and status. Soon doesn't tell Gyum-myung about this talk. Instead, she just tells her to cancel the engagement, even though it breaks her heart. At first, Gyum-myung doesn't understand. Later, Youngbyom asks her to move in with him, and she agrees. But as soon as she does, his mother gets very angry. She shouts and accuses Gyum-myung of trapping her son. That's the last straw. Gyum-myung tells her that she has ruined her own son's life. Her voice is calm, but her words are full of pain. Years pass by in a flash. We see a glimpse of the future. Youngbyom is now married to another woman, and he is not happy. His life doesn't seem joyful anymore. His mother, who once had so much power, is now being mistreated by her new daughter-in-law. She had once looked down on Gyum-myung, but now she is the one being pushed aside. Back in the present, Gyum-myung sits in a taxi. She looks out the window, thinking of everything that has happened. Over many days and nights, she and Youngbyom talk less and less. The love that was once felt strongly slowly slips away. In the end, they break up for good. There are no more tears, no more begging, just silence. Gyum-myung breaks off her engagement with Youngbyom. She is heartbroken and feels very empty inside. Soon, her mother, keeps calling her, hoping she will talk. But Gyum-myung doesn't pick up the phone. She just wants to be alone. Everything hurts too much. While Soon waits, we see a soft flashback. It shows Gyum-myung as a little girl, happily walking beside her mother. Back then, Gyum-myung would always talk to her mom and tell her everything. They laughed and cried together, and Soon would always know how to make her daughter feel better. Now, it feels like the bond is lost. Soon feels sad and helpless, missing the closeness they once shared. At home, Soon and Gwang-sik sit quietly together, feeling the silence of an empty house. It's hard for them, too, to accept that their children are all grown up now. Then, something wonderful happens. One day, Soon, having made a large portion of different food and side dishes to send to her daughter, she was complaining to her husband when Gyum-myung suddenly returned home. She walks through the front door, surprising her parents. Soon rushes to hug her, and Gwang-sik smiles the biggest smile. They are both so happy to see her again. They don't ask too many questions. Instead, they cook. Soon makes lots of tasty food, hoping that warm meals will heal her daughter's broken heart. Gyum-myung eats quietly, and for the first time in many days, she feels safe. Early the next morning, Gwang-sik wakes her up and takes her to the ocean. At first, Gyum-myung tells him to leave her alone, that she wants to sleep more. He left the room, but instead of going, he waited for her in the sitting room. She came out, and she already knew he will wait. They board the boat together, and he takes her out to sea. As the sun begins to rise, the sky turns gold and orange. It is peaceful and beautiful. Gwang-sik does not say much, but Gyum-myung can feel his love in every quiet moment. She watches him work hard, pulling nets and steering the boat, and she feels both sad and thankful. Her father has always worked so hard for the family. She realizes that even when life is painful, love can still be found in small acts. As they head back, Sang-gil sees them together. He watches from a distance and feels jealous. He never had that kind of warm relationship with his daughter, Hyun-suk. Later, he tries to copy what Gwang-sik did and asks Hyun-suk to go see the sunrise with him. But Hyun-suk is not interested. She remembers all the times he was mean and cold to her. Now that she's older, she doesn't want to pretend that things were fine when they weren't. Elsewhere, Jung-myung is still thinking about her broken wedding. She is afraid people in town will gossip, but soon surprises her. She says she never sent out the wedding invitations. That means nobody knows what happened. Jung-myung feels a little bit lighter. Her mother had quietly protected her again, without saying a word. Before she leaves for the city again, Jung-myung gives her parents small gifts. She gives Soon a notebook to write her poems, and she gives Gwon-sik hand cream for his rough, tired hands. She thanks them and tells them she feels stronger now. Then she goes back to her empty apartment and starts cleaning it up, step by step. Later that week, Gwon-sik's sister comes to visit Soon. She brings some goods to sell, and the two women sit together for a little while. We find out that Gwon-sik's sister has also had a hard life. She has been in an abusive relationship. Soon listens quietly and then buys a few things from her. She doesn't judge. She just tells her to visit again. It's a small kindness, but it means a lot. Later, Soon visits her grandmother. The old woman is getting weaker, and sometimes her memory is not clear. But when she sees Soon, her face lights up. Even in her confusion, she knows her granddaughter. In a touching moment, Soon talks to her grandmother about the past. The older woman seems to sense Soon's pain, especially the grief she still carries after losing her youngest child. That night, Soon dreams of her grandmother meeting her mother in the afterlife. In the dream, her grandmother says she has paid her debt by taking care of Soon. The next day, Soon's grandmother passed away peacefully in her sleep. After the funeral, Soon walks alone for a while, thinking about life and death. So many people have left them. Her grandmother, Gwon-sik's father and grandmother, one of the Haenyeo aunties, and of course, her youngest child. But life still moves forward. She thinks about how love and pain live side by side. Sometimes they hurt, but sometimes they shine like a sunrise. Just then, a surprise shakes the house. Eun-myung suddenly returns home from his military service. Soon and Gwon-sik are shocked but happy. They laugh and cry and welcome him with open arms. But there is more. He didn't come alone. Standing beside him is Hyun-suk, and she is pregnant. Everyone stares, not sure what to say. The air becomes still, but there is also a strange joy. Even after everything, love keeps showing up in unexpected ways. Far away in Seoul, Gum-myung gets on a bus. She looks calm, as if she's starting a new chapter. Just then, Chung-seop is getting off the same bus. He sees her and quickly turns around, running after the bus. He waves and calls out, but the bus keeps going. He watches it disappear into the traffic, her face just a blur behind the glass. In 1998, on a very special day, Gum-myung's wedding. Everything looks beautiful. Flowers are blooming, people are smiling, and music is playing. But standing in the crowd, almost hidden, is Young-byum. He watches from a distance with sad eyes. Once, he had dreamed of standing beside her as her groom. Now, he is only a guest, holding memories instead of her hand. As the camera lingers on his face, the story jumps back in time to 1 year earlier. At the Yang family home, something joyful is happening. A baby is born. Eun-myung and Hyun-suk have become parents, and the family is full of laughter. But in the middle of the joy, Eun-myung starts an argument. He tells his father that he feels like he missed out in life because they were poor. Gwon-sik looks surprised but quiet. Soon quickly steps in. She tells her son to be careful with his words. His father has worked hard every day of his life, waking before sunrise, risking his health, and never complaining. He deserves respect, not blame. Her voice is firm, but loving, reminding them all that family means standing together, not pulling apart. Outside, Hyun-suk's mother sits quietly in a car. She seems unsure and nervous. Soon walks over with a smile. She gently tells her that it's okay to come inside and meet her grandson. She even promises to care for Hyun-suk, to give her the warmth and safety that her own mother may not have been able to provide. The two women share a silent moment. They both know how hard life can be for mothers, and in that quiet space, a little bit of peace is made. But as families grow and babies are born, the world outside is changing fast. South Korea is facing a big financial problem. Many people lose their jobs. Money becomes tight. One of the people affected is Gum-myung. She tries her best, but her company lets her go. Suddenly she has no income and no idea what to do next. Day after day, she searches for work. Each no she hears feels heavier than the last. One day, as she walks through the city with a tired heart, she sees an old movie theater, the same one where she once worked. She steps inside, finding it quiet and almost empty. The owner tells her it will be closing soon. Feeling nostalgic, she buys a ticket and sits alone in the dark to watch a film. Unknown to her, Cheong-seop is not far. He also visits the theater, and when the owner tells him she was just there, something lights up in his face. He rushes outside, hoping to catch her. As he runs through the busy streets, he sees her board a bus. He chases after it, running as fast as he can. It's just like a scene in a movie. He almost misses her, but at the very last second, he wanted to give up. Then he remembered that this might be his only chance, and remembers a quite there that he might never see her again after that day. He started running again, and then he reached her. Breathless and smiling, they reconnect. When he got on the train, people were plenty, so he waited. So by the time most people have left the train, Geum-myung was already asleep, so he used his jacket as a pillow to make her comfortable. The bus stopped at its last stop, and she wakes up surprised to see him staring at her. She feels like she is dreaming. That night, they sit together, sharing drinks and memories. The air is warm, and so are their words. Cheong-seop tells her he has liked her for a long time. His voice is soft and honest. Geum-myung listens quietly, her heart slowly opening. This time it feels different. She feels safe with him. He doesn't rush her or try to change her. Being with him is just the right temperature, warm, but not too hot. Calm, but not cold. She smiles, knowing this might be the beginning of something real. Time passes, and Geum-myung decides it is time for her family to meet Cheong-seop. She brings him home. First, they went to catch fish in the sea with her father. Throughout most of the trip, Cheong-seop feels seasick and vomits throughout. Later in the night, her father, Gwan-sik, sits across the table, staring at him with sharp eyes. He asks many questions, testing the young man. But Cheong-seop answers respectfully. He doesn't pretend to be perfect. He just says that he cares deeply for Geum-myung and will always try to protect her. Though Gwan-sik doesn't show it right away, he sees the truth. He remembers how Cheong-seop once helped Geum-myung on the boat, and how he always watched out for her when no one else noticed. Meanwhile, Ae-soon gets a pleasant surprise. Cheong-seop's mother visits her, bringing homemade dried fruit, a sweet gift made with care. She tells Ae-soon how much she likes Geum-myung and how lucky her son is to have met her. Ae-soon feels relief and joy. As a mother, nothing is more comforting than knowing your daughter is truly loved by her in-laws. The two women talk gently, feeling like old friends even though they just met. The day of the wedding finally arrives. The sky is clear, and the hall is filled with love. As Geum-myung gets ready to walk down the aisle, her father stands beside her. He leans in and whispers, "You don't have to go through with it, you know. If you change your mind, we can go home." He has said this before, and he means it every time. His love is unconditional. It makes Geum-myung cry. She sobs, not because she is unsure, but because she feels safe. Just then, Cheong-seop steps forward, wiping away her tears. He holds her hand and walks with her, gently, one step at a time. He then asked her if they can stop the wedding if she feels it's too much because of her uncontrollable tears. Everyone in the room watches with soft eyes. It's a beautiful moment. But as the Yang family heads home after the wedding, something troubling happens. A group of men shows up, asking about Eun-myung's business partner. It turns out that Eun-myung had started a small pawn shop with someone his mother had warned him about. Now the partner has run away, and trouble is knocking on their door. Sad news for the Yang family. Eun-myung is in jail. His business partner has run away, taking all the money with him. Now the police think Eun-myung is part of the crime. He sits alone behind bars, feeling ashamed and angry. When his parents visit him, he finally shares what's been inside his heart for many years. He says that he always felt like he was second best in the family. He believed Geum-myung was always more important to their parents. He says that his anger and sadness made him chase money quickly, without thinking. He wanted to feel strong and in control. But now, instead of success, he is sitting in jail. His parents listen quietly. They don't get mad. They can see he is hurting. Ae-soon looks at her son and feels a mix of pain and love. She wants to help, but she doesn't know how. Eun-myung is still her little boy, even though he's now a man. Hyun-suk, worried about her husband, goes to see her father. She begs him to help pay the bail so Eun-myung can come home, but her father says no. He turns away from her, cold and unforgiving. Hyun-suk feels helpless, so Ae-soon steps in. She decides to act. She visits the house of the mother of Eun-myung's runaway friend. At first, everything looks normal, but then Ae-soon sees a brand new television in the room. Her heart sinks. She knows at once. This is where some of the stolen money went. Ae-soon becomes angry. She doesn't yell, but her voice is strong. A struggle follows. She grabs the television and walks out of the house, holding it in her arms. She brings it back home, not because she wants it, but because it belongs to her son. It's a small victory, but also a sign of how far a mother will go to protect her child. At the same time, Gwan-sik is also trying to help. He visits people, asking to borrow money, but no one says yes. Everyone is afraid to lend money during hard times. With no other way left, Gwan-sik makes a big and painful decision. He sells his boat. the same boat he worked on every day for years. It was more than just a boat. It was his pride, his tool, his way of feeding the family. Selling it means the family will struggle again. And they do. A soon goes back to the market to work. She fillets squids with her hands, just like she did in the past. The work is cold and tiring, but she does it without complaining, because that's what mothers do. Meanwhile, Hyun-suk faces her struggles. She tells Gwon-sik that Eun-myung has started selling rice cakes door to door. He hates it. He feels embarrassed, but he does it anyway. It's his way of saying sorry. It's his way of helping the family again. Over in another part of town, Sang-gil's mother surprises everyone by giving a piece of land to her daughter-in-law. It's a tangerine farm, a sign of new beginnings. Maybe not everything is going badly. Maybe some people are finally getting a second chance. The next day brings more trouble, though. Eun-myung is not home. He has been taken to a deep-sea fishing boat. It's dangerous work, and no one knows if he'll be safe. Sang-gil and Gwon-sik rush to the dock, hoping to bring him back. They argue with the boat owner, trying to explain the situation. While they talk, Eun-myung steps forward. His face is tired, but his voice is calm. He tells his father that he knew about the rice cake plan. He knew his dad had secretly paid the neighbors to buy from him. But even so, he kept going. Not for the money, but because he wanted to be helpful. He wanted to be useful. Just then, Ae-soon arrives. She runs to her son, tears pouring down her face. She hugs him tightly. She doesn't care about mistakes or failures. All she sees is her child, safe and home. The family walks back together. Things are not perfect. There's still debt, sadness, and work to be done. But at least they are together. As the year 2000 comes closer, a small feeling of hope begins to grow in the Yang family's hearts. Ae-soon says, maybe things will start getting better. After all, a new year can mean a fresh start. Gum-myung decides to try something brave. She opens her own small business. She doesn't know if it will work, but she is ready to try. Over at Sang-gil's house, there is good news too. His wife, Young-ran, passes her real estate exam. She worked so hard, and now it's finally paying off. These small wins give Ae-soon the courage to look inward. She finds her old notebook, the one where she used to write poems. She begins to write again. Her heart is still heavy from all the pain and losses, but she wants to express her feelings. Writing gives her peace. Gwon-sik also surprises everyone. He makes a bold move. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but it shows that even after everything, he still believes in their future. Gum-myung visits her parents' home, but this visit is not just for fun. She has big news, very big news. She tells Ae-soon and Gwon-sik that she has quit her job and used all her savings to invest in a new business. This shocks everyone. Her parents are completely surprised and worried. Ae-soon especially gets very upset. She scolds Jung-myung, asking her how she could be so careless with money, especially now when the family is already going through a hard time. The fight between mother and daughter grows louder and more heated. Ae-soon says they have no room for more risks. She talks about how hard they've all worked, how they almost lost the house, and how tired she is of always being afraid. Gum-myung listens, but her eyes show she's been carrying this decision alone for a long time. The pain of being misunderstood builds up, but she doesn't scream. She just stands there, looking at her mother, looking like a little girl again. Meanwhile, Gwon-sik, who's usually quiet during arguments, does something unexpected. He announces that he has bought a shop. Not just any shop, but one far away from town, in a place that hardly gets any visitors. He did it because there were rumors of new buildings coming, maybe even a golf course. He tells everyone that it's time they take a chance, too. Another place in another scene, Young-ran makes a life-changing decision of her own. After thinking long and hard, she tells Sang-gil that she wants a divorce. This time, she means it. Now that she has money and something of her own, she's ready to live her life differently. She doesn't want to keep waiting around for Sang-gil to change. They sit across from each other, not shouting, just talking in quiet voices. Young-ran looks tired, but she's calm. Sang-gil, for once, doesn't argue. Maybe deep inside, he knows she's right. Maybe he sees that she has grown strong in ways he never expected. After she leaves, Sang-gil is left alone, thinking about his past actions. For the first time in a long while, he begins to realize that he hasn't been a good husband or father. And though it might be too late to fix things with Young-ran, he starts to understand the weight of his choices. Meanwhile, back at the Yang family house, another problem appears. Eun-myung finds out that the big golf course that was supposed to be built near Gwon-sik's new shop might not be real. It might have been a lie to trick people into buying land. Everyone starts to panic. They had used the house as a guarantee for the shop. If this deal fails, they will lose their home. Eun-myung is furious. He shouts, angry at his father for trusting strangers. Just then, Gum-myung returns with money. She had borrowed it to help save the house. But even this act of kindness leads to more shouting. Gum-myung tells her family how tired she is of always being the one to fix things. She says she gave up her comfort, moved to a cheaper place, ate less, and saved every bit of money, not just for her business, but for something even more important. That's when her parents finally understand. She's pregnant. She had been carrying this secret alone. All the little things they noticed before, her worn clothes, her thinner face, her silence, now make sense. She wasn't being reckless. She was being brave, trying to make a future not only for herself, but for her baby. The family is silent after she leaves. They sit quietly, thinking of how much they've asked from her, and how much she's already given. Later, we jump ahead to the day of her delivery, but things are not easy. The doctors say the baby isn't coming out fast enough. It's dangerous. Jum-myung becomes weak and faints from the pain. Chung-sup, scared and shaking, calls Isun and Gwan-sik. "Come now," he says. "She needs you." When the parents arrive, they rush into the hospital. Luckily, both mother and child survive. The baby is a girl, small and beautiful. Gum-myung is still weak, but the moment she sees her daughter, she smiles. Isun and Gwan-sik stand by her side, holding her hand, whispering soft words of love and praise. Their eyes fill with tears, not just from fear, but from joy. While Jum-myung heals, the rest of the family turns their attention to the shop. The new place is empty and strange at first, but they don't give up. They decide to turn it into a restaurant. Isun goes to the market to talk to the squid sellers. She negotiates hard and gets a good deal. Gwan-sik and Eun-myung work together, setting up the tables, cooking, and delivering food. Even though things are still hard, they feel something they haven't felt in a long time: hope. People begin to come, little by little. Then something amazing happens. A celebrity talks about the restaurant. She tells her fans how kind Gwan-sik was to her many years ago. He had helped her when she was feeling very sad, maybe even thinking of ending her life. She never forgot. And now she is using her fame to help his family. With her support, the restaurant becomes popular. More and more customers are coming. There are long lines, happy smiles, and laughter in the air. The family works hard every day, but they do it together. The pain and shame of the past slowly start to fade. Even better, they hear that Eun-myung's bad business partner has finally been caught. The person who caused so much trouble is now behind bars. Justice at last. Sang-gil attends his daughter's wedding. It's a bittersweet moment. He smiles, but his heart is full of thoughts. Young-ran is also there, sitting quietly. She hears something surprising. Someone tells her that Sang-gil was the one who helped track down Eun-myung's bad friend. He had quietly worked behind the scenes, never asking for thanks. Young-ran doesn't say anything out loud, but her expression softens. Maybe he wasn't all bad. Maybe he was just a man who didn't know how to say sorry. The Yang family's restaurant becomes more and more successful. Every day, people come to eat, laugh, and enjoy their food. Isun can hardly believe how far they've come. She remembers all the hard days, when they had no money, when she sold squid just to buy rice. Now, the restaurant is full of life. Gwan-sik works at the front, greeting customers, while Eun-myung and Gum-myung help with orders and deliveries. There is music in the kitchen and warmth in every dish. For the first time in her life, Isun dares to dream big. One day, while folding laundry, she tells Gwan-sik that she wants to travel, not just to the next town, but far away, maybe even abroad. Gwan-sik laughs, surprised, but he smiles and nods. "Why not?" he says. "They've worked hard, they've suffered. Maybe now, it's time for a reward." Meanwhile, Jum-myung is busier than ever. She's raising her little girl, working at her education company, and helping with the family restaurant. Still, she always makes time for her daughter. Isun often babysits the baby, holding her close, singing lullabies, and smiling with joy she never thought she'd feel again. One day, Gum-myung looks at the money they saved for her parents' health checkups. She tells Isun that now is the right time. They've put it off for too long. So together, Isun and Gwan-sik go to the hospital for full-body exams. It feels strange being taken care of after a lifetime of taking care of others. At the hospital, while Gwan-sik is asleep under anesthesia, Isun finds out something that breaks her heart. She learns from the doctor that Gwan-sik has been carrying guilt inside him for many years, something he never shared with anyone. He believes Dong-myung's death was his fault. He thinks that if only he had built a small stone wall near the edge of the sea, his son wouldn't have slipped and fallen. Isun is shaken. All these years, she thought she was the only one who carried pain. But Gwan-sik, quiet and strong, had been hurting too. The next day, they visit Dong-myung's grave together. It's the first time Gwan-sik stands beside her at the grave. In the past, he used to stay far away, crying where no one could see. But now, he stands with Isun, head bowed, heart open. He speaks softly, saying he's sorry, saying he misses their son. Isun gently holds his hand. They don't say much, but their silence is full of love. That day, Aesoon writes a new poem, one full of memories, pain, and hope. Just as she finishes, Jumyoung calls. The doctor wants more tests. Something is wrong. Soon the family receives heartbreaking news. Gwansik has cancer, a type of blood cancer that is hard to treat. The world around Aesoon starts to blur. She thought they had finally reached peace, finally found rest, but now they are back in the storm. The next days are filled with hospital visits, medicine, and quiet prayers. Gwansik becomes weaker. One night, he calls Geum-myung to his bedside. He tells her stories about her mother, about their younger years, about the times he smiled but didn't show it, and the times he cried alone. He tells her he is proud of her. He says he's sorry he didn't always show it, but she made him proud every day. Then he makes one last request. He asks her to never let Aesoon be alone. He says Aesoon is strong, but her heart is full of stories and poems, and she needs someone to hear them. Geum-myung cries and promises. Later, Sik comes home for a short time. He lies in his bed, surrounded by family. Yoon-myung kneels beside him, crying. He tells his father he had planned to surprise him. He wanted to buy a new boat and a car, just for him. He thought they could go fishing again, like old times. In a soft moment, we see a flashback. Gwansik taking young Eun-myung out for jjajangmyeon on his birthday. It was a quiet celebration, but it meant the world to Eun-myung. As time passes, Jum-myung's business grows. She is invited on television as the founder of a popular online education platform. She speaks into the microphone with a smile, saying it was her parents who gave her everything. They were her teachers, her strength, her reason for dreaming. Aesoon and Gwansik watch from home, holding hands. Even as Gwansik becomes weaker, his eyes are full of pride. Finally, he returns to the hospital for the last time. The doctors try to help, but his body is tired. One evening, as the sun sets and the sky glows orange, Aesoon sits beside him. She holds his hand, reads him a poem, and smiles. Gwansik looks at her. He tells her that her smile is the most beautiful thing he has ever seen, and with that, he takes his last breath. Aesoon stays still for a long time, her hand still in his, her heart heavy but calm. Gwansik is gone, but he left with love. In the days that follow, Aesoon doesn't cry out loud. She writes. She writes every day. Her poems become her way to remember, to grieve, to speak. The restaurant continues. The family grows stronger, and life moves forward. But Aesoon carries Gwansik in every word she puts down on paper. Years pass. Aesoon now volunteers at a home for the elderly. She teaches older women, former Haenyeo like herself, how to read and write. She tells them it's never too late to learn, never too late to dream. One day, Geum-myung surprises her mother by buying back the old family home, the same house where they all once cried, laughed, and fought. Aesoon moves in, bringing her memories with her. The family visits often. The house fills with the sound of children playing and adults chatting over tea. On the bookshelf sits a copy of Aesoon's poetry book. It has finally been published. Inside its pages are stories of love, pain, family, and Gwansik. The editor of the book is a kind woman with a gentle smile, and she looks almost exactly like Aesoon's mother. It feels like fate. Aesoon walks through her garden. The trees bloom, the wind is soft, and the sky is clear. She holds her poetry book close to her chest. This, she thinks, is the spring of my life. It's not the kind of spring that comes only once. It's the kind that returns, again and again, after every winter. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and see you next time.